Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Miller, co-founder of the Together Association. Welcome everyone at home around the world that's watching this on live stream. Thank you to Getter UK and Getter Global for doing a stream with us as well, and to Jason Miller and Dan Dukes. It's great to be working with people who appreciate free speech. When did it ever become the case that that was such a radical proposition? But that's what we're faced with today. So, in the spirit of free speech tonight, we're going to have a big, important discussion about digital ID, central bank digital currency and cash, but also about the platforms and restrictions and some of the issues we've been faced with recently. I want to start off with something else. If you look up the top of there, it says, "To thine own self be true." Many of you will know that's from Shakespeare. And I think it's really important that we need to remind ourselves about courage in these times, and to thine own self be true, and to actually be able to speak up and challenge and discuss civilly and win people over to the idea that freedom, rights, privacy and choice are really, really essential. And actually, if we don't have that, particularly freedom of speech, we have no freedom. Now, for the viewers at home, it's not a magic show. We're all going to show you that what we're going to do in 2023. What are we going to do, everyone? Take back democracy. That's exactly what we're going to do. So, we need to start off this evening not with Rishi Sunak's gleeful promotion of central bank digital currency, nor of Matt Hancock's attempt to blame care staff for deaths, or even the World Health Organization's attempts to galvanize digital ID and vaccine passports, or not even Nigeria limiting ATM withdrawals recently of cash to $45 to accelerate digital currency. But I have to start with an apology. We found out once booking the venue here, this beautiful, historic, important gem of London culture, which was first opened in 1929 and took its name from Monsieur Daniel Conway, who was an anti-slavery advocate, outspoken supporter of free thought, and a biographer of Thomas Paine, that great author of Common Sense and more. But we found out that cash was not accepted at the bar, and it's a sign of the times. Now, it was already too late to change because, and we should say this is nothing to do with the staff, they're fantastic here, but these things get put from above and they get forced to happen. But when we looked at some other venues to try and see if we could resolve it, all the ones we contacted had similar policies. So it's poignant for tonight's discussion that the ever-dwindling ability to be anonymous in payment, and please do feel free to give them a flyer saying why cash is so important, and you've all got one on your seats, we're going to talk about that a bit more, and that we're distributing across the UK with our regional and local ambassadors and hubs together. And what we all have to say to them, very simple, what, no cash? And we're going to get them in cafes and restaurants and places up and down the country, and we think it's really important. Now, on to tonight's event. This is a really important one. We have a fantastic panel that has a huge amount of experience and insight into the issues that we are looking at to discuss, but also as a way that we think is important as Together to see what we can do about ensuring that our privacy, autonomy, choice, rights and freedom are not suffocated. The last couple of weeks has seen Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter result in some remarkable revelations of government and security service interference in social media platforms and restricting certain views. We have Toby Young of the Free Speech Union, which was taken down from PayPal, along with Us for Them, who had also had their account temporarily frozen, until many of you in here and many more others challenged this publicly. Toby will be telling us where his campaign is to enshrine free speech, which many of you will have sent an email to your MP today about. We've seen that Eventbrite, that we've used up until now, taking down events because some of their execs clearly did not like what was being discussed. And so now, as of today, we have stopped using them and we'll be having tickets run on our own site moving forwards. The CEO of the Bank for International Settlements recently told the world that the great thing about central bank digital currency was that they could track every transaction. We know that happened to some of the supporters of the we know what happened to some of the supporters of the Canadian truckers who had their bank accounts frozen. But recent events in Britain have shown just how alarming controls can be. especially when Oxfordshire is implementing control zones for residents? Will the risks of central bank digital currency imperil our ability to make choices freely without being shut down? Cameron Parry, the CEO of Tally Money, has many views on this and as to why he set up his company, which we very much look forward to hearing. Now, back in the heyday of the inspiring possibilities of the internet and World Wide Web, Eva Pascoe launched Siberia, the first internet cafe, here in London, and rolling them out to Paris, Tokyo, and elsewhere. Eva went on to launch some of the first key online retail sites and is a veteran of the space and has much to say about the implication of the convenience versus freedom and cash. Some of us are old enough to remember "Do No Evil," that strapline that Google founders launched with and was later jettisoned. Nico MacDonald has spent his career in information technology and the digital sphere, writing and teaching, and will be providing some historical context of what's changed and why. Now, the lockdowns forced many from various political backgrounds to rapidly try and understand what was going on. Some from the left were astonished at how many fellow travellers seemed to forget all the hard-won gains of the Enlightenment that were told were needed to be suppressed to keep us safe, while others, some conservative and libertarians, were equally shocked at draconian measures. Andrew Lowenthal has written internationally on digital rights and freedom and the risks we all face, so we're really pleased he's here this evening. In the battle, we like that, bit of musical background. You can see the movie together, let's do it. In the battle against COVID passports and vaccine mandates, many of us together were in the trenches. Most of us on a personal level lost some friends, but many gained many new allies, committed to defending our rights and privacy against a no-papers-please society. James Melville has been a consistent and vigorous campaigner, as well as a commentator committed to making sure the new digital ID, loved by the Blair Institute and many others, does not become a reality here. So we're very lucky to have them tonight. I'm going to talk a bit about them as well, but can we just give them a big round of applause to... I'm going to shut up in a minute because we're going to get on to the smart ones. But as Germany moves to make a new law to evaluate any transaction over 100 euros, President Biden excitedly talks about the coming digital dollar, and all the while our economy is seeing ever higher inflation with costs of lockdowns and living pain, businesses closing, wages stagnating, now worth even less, and too many people having to choose between heating and eating. Is all this going to be dealt with properly, or will the technocrats attempt to impose rigorous measures? Will they be akin to China's social credit system as a way to control us? Now, on the note of elected and opposition, those with amnesia, as we see the damage of zero COVID and fanatics in China and elsewhere, we also see that the human spirit, courage, and being willing to stand up is inspiring and a reminder that no matter what the odds, it is always up to us to fight for what we believe in. When we do this together, we are always stronger. Finally, we're going to have drinks here afterwards to enjoy with us, mingle, and let's make Christmas a bit of fun, because some of the doom-mongers want us to be perpetually at a state of crisis and despair, and we're not going to allow any of that, right? And I'd invite you all to join and get involved and make sure that 2023 is more influenced by all of us, for the care workers to be reinstated and compensated, for the online safety bill to be scrapped of any of the censorship, and free speech to be made part of our sovereign state for each and every one of us, and for the public to be at the heart of things. That's you, me, us, our friends and family and work colleagues, not this nasty group of dangerous people they always want to talk about. Making sure that the technocrats do not punish us and that they do not win.